Happy holidays, Pete.
I guess so. It's only November.
So we're not saying Merry Christmas, Pete, this year, because our big thing last year was we said Merry Christmas to start every episode, and it was a great, exciting thing because everybody say what you want, whatever, go for it. Except now Trump said we're saying Merry Christmas again. No fucking never mind then. I'm out on saying Merry Christmas.
That's fair. Okay, I kind of understand where you're coming from there.
I am now a hard fucking...
It's like when you...
Happy holidays, guy.
You fight to win the war on something. People were trying to win the war on Christmas. Then you win it, and you're like, I kind of like the way things were before.
Well, no, also you win the war on Christmas, and then you look to go high-five your fellow soldiers, and you're like, fuck, these guys were on my side? That's not good. So... I'm still a big Christmas guy, though. Oh, I'm still going to celebrate Christmas. I'm still going to observe it, but I'm not going to spike the football when it comes to wishing people a Merry Christmas.
That's fair. We saw Bad Moms Christmas this week for a movie, which we'll get into how big of a piece of shit this movie was. But the first warning sign for this movie being terrible is that it's a Christmas movie released in the first week of November.
Honestly, I think that's a good time to do it.
That doesn't happen very often, though, does it? Like, the last time I remember that happening was fucking not the Tim Allen one, the Christmas with the Cranks.
No one saw that. What was the one with Krampus came out I think that came out in December. What was the one with the night before?
Yeah. Did that come out in November?
I don't know. But I saw the movie.
Okay.
All right, so here's a synopsis. A Bad Mom's Christmas follows our three underappreciated and overburdened women as they rebel against the challenges and expectations of the Super Bowl for moms. Christmas. It was so bad.
It was a really bad movie. It was exceptionally bad.
And
we saw the first one, and I liked the first one.
I can't remember much from the first one.
I don't remember too much, but I do remember watching it and be like, this is a lot funnier than I expected it to be, because it's such an unoriginal idea. I'm so sick of all these movies doing bad blank.
Yeah. I just remember my big takeaway, and I'd forgotten this was my takeaway from the first one. And then it was the first note I took during this movie, which was in all caps, you're allowed to drink. A big part of this franchise is check out these people. Guess what, though? They're drinking, and they're playing fucking crazy. There's a scene in this movie where they're at the mall, and they're hanging out, and they're like, want to go get drunk? And they get drunk, and as they're getting drunk, they're just sitting around having beers, but the music that's playing is like, do something crazy, do something crazy.
And they're not doing anything.
They're doing nothing crazy. They're just behaving like adults.
They eventually get to like shoplifting and things.
So yeah, that's the thing. It takes so long to get there, and the stops along the way, the do something crazy stops, are like, so they drink, then they go to Sharper Image, and they're pointing out which stuff is phallic. You don't think I fucking do that sober on a fucking Wednesday?
I know.
Out of here.
Yeah.
Something crazy.
But like the first movie too, they had like the do something crazy scenes were actually crazy. Like they threw a fucking wild house party.
Yeah.
They were wasted at the supermarket, which I thought was kind of funny. This one, they only had that like one party scene, and it was at the mall, and it was very, very disappointing.
Well, this franchise relies.
Please don't say this franchise anymore, because that's just like giving it more hope.
There's more coming.
I know.
This franchise relies so much on Kathryn Hahn for this idea of bad moms. There's only one of them that's like a fucking wild person.
Yeah.
Mila Kunis
and a bad mom.
Kristen Bell are both squares.
Yeah, and good moms.
Yeah, and I mean, Kathryn Hahn loves her kid. Her kid's just so dumb that
kid is legitimately missing some stuff upstairs. So
she loves him as much as you can love someone that dumb. All right, so did we like it? You guys should know this format by now. We do 5 on did we like it? How did everyone look? Are we stealing stuff from it? Is it problematic? That adds up to 20. Cut it in half, and that's our final score. If it is, 2.2?
2.5
If it is 2.5 or lower, it gets lumped into the category we call piece of shit of the year. You don't want to get piece of shit of the year, because then you got to hang out with the snowman.
Yep. Did we like it? I wanted to give it a 0 real bad, but I'm gonna be fair. I'm gonna give it a 0.25 on did we like it, because I laughed a few times.
Right. I'm giving it a 0.3 because there were some times when I laughed, and then as soon as I laughed, I told myself, I was like, that wasn't funny. But you're rooting for this for some reason. So
yeah.
that shows
I like the cast, so
yeah.
I wanted it to be, and I like the first one, so I wanted it to be an enjoyable movie. It really wasn't, but there were a few points that made me laugh. I can't give it a 0 because we've already established that I gave a 0 to the snowman, and literally there was nothing at all redeeming about the snowman. So that's a 0. I laughed a few times. There was a hint of humor in this movie, so I'll give it a 0.25.
It is nuts, though. I mean, we can't underscore how not funny the movie was, though. For the cast is so good, and Kathryn Hahn's always funny. Kristen Bell, I love. Mila Kunis is awesome. Cheryl Hines,
love her.
Cheryl Hines, cool that she's playing a grandma, because she plays a hot adult in one role,
really,
and then plays a grandma in another.
All over the map.
Yeah, pretty cool that she's kind of in that sweet spot right now.
Yeah,
but.
You pointed this out.
Was funny, though.
You pointed this out after the movie ended, and I completely agree. They beat bad jokes into the ground in this movie.
They would make a joke, and you'd be like, "Oh, I hope this isn't the kind of joke you're going to be making." Not in a problematic way. Actually, we'll get to that. And then they make that joke 10 more times. For example, the mother of Mila Kunis meets Mila Kunis' boyfriend, the guy from the first one. Total smoke. Really just that's a guy.
That guy can, I can take him or leave him.
Yeah, but that's a guy that ends. So with people like Mila Kunis, you're like, that girl is so beautiful. What kind of guy even gets that woman? That guy. Because he's just a normal guy who's also just kind of 9.3s across the board in the looks department.
I think that's too high.
He's got good hair, but he doesn't have to do a lot to his hair. He's got good arms. It's just all there.
He's not. Yeah, he's take it or leave it for me. Like, he's very. He might be like Weatherman territory for me.
Not. He's wearing fucking jeans and a t-shirt. Every time we've seen him.
Yeah, and I've never been blown away by him.
Get the fuck out of here. So the mother meets him, and because he's not white, thinks that he's the help. And you're like, oh, well, that's kind of an obvious old joke. And she makes that joke 1,000 times during the movie. You're like, bitch, I didn't laugh the first time.
The big one for me was Cheryl Hines when Kristen Bell, who plays her daughter, which is a great casting, by the way. They look alike.
They make their hair the exact same.
Yes.
They make them both look like Who's.
Yeah. But when Kristen Bell's trying to speak to Cheryl Hines and say, like, hey, I need space, she keeps making up diseases that she has.
Oh, God.
And it was funny the first few times.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't like, it wasn't laugh out loud funny, but it was like, huh. Yeah. But they keep going, and they name about 7.
Where you're like, I'm rooting for you. I don't want you to embarrass you.
Yeah. So they did that about like 75 different times.
And they would do it, but they did it in the Judd Apatow style, where they're just sitting there listing a million of them, and they keep cutting back to them. And when you see that, you're supposed to be like, wow, that person's a great improviser, because they're just sitting there just doing all these funny ones. That is a technique that is way overdone. They do it a lot in fucking That Awkward Moment. Newsflash, fucking Miles Teller, Zac Efron, and Michael B. Jordan. I love the three of you. Will never mistake any of you for funny.
Improv stars. Yeah.
Or even just funny people. Like, Miles Teller is a guy I want to hang out with. Zac Efron's a guy in whom I'm invested for some reason. And Michael B. Jordan, just
want to date him.
Fuck. Just
want to marry him.
Man, what a great... Remember when fucking Feidelberg couldn't tell if he was that good looking?
Yeah, what an idiot.
Fuck out of here.
The biggest problem for me about this movie was that the first one was sort of relatable. Like, the characters weren't so fucking ridiculous that, like, you could be, if you were like a mom, like, moms found this movie wicked funny because they could relate to some of the things about, like, motherhood being hard, it being, like, way too stressful. This one, they just threw all that relatable shit out the window and just tried to make it as ridiculous as possible.
They put in some pauses for laughs from moms, one of which was Wanda Sykes was a therapist, and she's talking to Kristen Bell about why Kristen Bell's mom is so crazy, and she goes on this rant. She's like, she took you home and you probably had a fever when you were a baby and that probably made her a little crazy, and then you started doing this, now it's a little crazy. Then you brought home a guy with a fucking nose ring and that probably made her a little crazy. Then you're doing this, then you're doing that. So when you want to know why your mom's crazy, bitch, you made her crazy. And there's just like 4 seconds of silence and I'm like, you're anticipating there's a theater full of moms clapping at this? I'm in this theater right now. There's like 8 of us. None of us are moms.
And also, I had a major problem with that therapist scene because Kristen Bell's mom was fucking insane.
Yeah.
Like, there was a...
I don't think therapists are supposed to pick sides.
Yeah, right.
Really
definitely pick sides. Picked a side after an absolutely ridiculous interaction in which Kristen Bell's mom tried to make up diseases to keep her daughter talking to her after she, like, did the weirdest shit. Like, Kristen Bell just said that her mom watched her have sex earlier in the week, and Wanda Sykes didn't find a problem with that. She was like, nope, you're at fault here, Kristen Bell.
Yeah, well,
there's a few times in this movie where they try to make, like, the daughters out to be the guilty party, and that's not true because the moms were absolute monsters, pretty much.
Yeah.
Susan Sarandon, who plays Kristen Hahn's mom, Kathryn Hahn, plays Kathryn Hahn's mom. She was like the most normal one. She was just a gambler.
I know. I was thinking that. I was like, this person's by far the most normal person. Mm-hmm. She just got a couple demons. If you only have a couple demons, you're fucking golden. On the relatable thing, the reason why the first Bad Moms was relatable is the same reason why guys watched Girls. Because, so Girls was called Girls, and it was about girls. Fucking in New York.
Couldn't see that coming.
But it's really about young adults.
It's really about Lena Dunham.
Out what their life is after college. And I remember when Girls came out, I watched that, I was like, oh, holy fuck, this shit is so relatable. Same with Bad Moms. Bad Moms isn't about motherhood. It's about later adulthood. It's about being fucking 29 through 40 and being like, fuck, I'm like...
Still trying to have fun while being a mom.
Right. So that was a long one for but we did not like it. How did everyone look?
I have 3 out of 5 here because it's a good looking cast. Like, you have Mila Kunis, you have Kristen Bell, Kathryn Hahn. She doesn't really do much for me, but like she's fine.
Yeah.
And then there is the guy from This Is Us who plays the stripper.
Oh, okay.
And he's a pretty attractive dude. But like, obviously Kunis, I mean, her boyfriend, like I said, doesn't do too much for me. But I don't know. It wasn't enough. Like, they didn't sexy anybody up in this movie, which they did in the first one. They tried to sexy up Kristen Bell at one point.
Yeah.
And I thought they didn't really give too much effort into trying to make everybody look good in this movie.
So that is why I give it a 4.5.
Wow.
Because nobody ever looked bad, and you never looked at someone and was like, oh, get it together. What do people do? They're having these people play normal people. It's not their fault that they're beautiful IRL. I thought that Kristen Bell plays she plays a very good busy person.
Yeah.
She just, like, when she's busy, she's rushing around, her hair's a mess, still beautiful. I think Kristen Bell, very high on the cute scale. I know there's always that kind of debate with her.
Yeah, sexy or cute. Yeah. I think she can really classify as both.
She's the perfect combination of sexy and cute.
Yes. One problem that I had and why I deducted points is that 2 of the moms look the same. Like, Mila Kunis' mom looks like Cheryl Hines a little bit. And I was
Who
like,
is that again? And I'm supposed to. That's a really famous person.
Christine Baranski.
Oh, okay. Maybe it's not a famous person.
I don't know who it is, but yeah, she didn't look anything like Mila Kunis. They could have done a better job there.
I texted you I was just texting I was so fucking bored of that shit. I texted you, Kunis adopted as fuck.
Yes.
Because they looked nothing alike.
Yes. So that was a problem for me. The 2 moms looked the same. But yeah, nothing overwhelming in the looks department. So I gave it a 3 out of 5.
Are we stealing stuff from it?
I gave it a 1 out of 5.
So did I.
Okay. Yeah. What are you going to steal from it? Because
exactly one line. She says, Kathryn Hahn says to the stripper, how did you find me? And this stripper is really dumb. Yeah. And he looks back at her and says, I looked for you.
Yes, that's a hilariously bad line.
If that line is ever in play, like if someone ever says to me in any setting, not even a romantic setting, if they're like, "How'd you find me?" If we're at a fucking concert, there's 300,000 people. Like, man, how'd you find me in that crowd? I looked for you.
That's pretty good.
Awesome.
I have one line that I'm going to steal. And it was delivered by Mila Kunis' mom, and she says to her husband, who's a grown-ass adult, played by Peter Gallagher. Oh, yeah. By the way, Peter Gallagher, way too good for this shit.
Also, Peter Gallagher, I wrote this down, it took an hour and 23 minutes
to give
for
like
them to reveal
one line.
That he was Mila Kunis' dad.
No, it was insinuated. Like, I figured that out right off the jump.
Well, we knew that he was obviously with Mila Kunis' mom, but we didn't know if there was a divorce in there or what. She was so rude to him, and Mila Kunis never fucking talked to him. She's supposed to have this bad relationship with her mom, yet she's interacting with her the whole time, not saying a goddamn word to goddamn P-Gal.
Peter Gallagher doesn't have a line for like the first hour and a half of this movie. He was just a fucking punching bag.
She says, "What if I hide your heart medicine?" How'd you like that?
Yes, that one was good, but the one that I'm stealing is, "I'm going to fucking leave you at a fire station," which is a great line.
Drive you to a
fire station and leave you there, which is
good.
an amazing line to say to a grown-ass adult.
Yeah,
so
because theoretically, I mean, we didn't know. We haven't heard this guy speak. Maybe he doesn't know how to talk. Like, he could probably find his way back or figure something out.
I like that line a lot, so I went with that. 1 out of 5.
All right, so this is where we get to the, is it problematic? Now, problematic and whether we want to be problematic changes depending on each movie. We decided in this case we want it to be funny problematic. So we want there to be some moments where they say something and you're caught off guard by like,
they went
awful,
there.
Terrible. You want that.
Yes.
For me, I never got that.
No.
I never got that. I'm giving it a 0 there, and furthermore, I'm giving it a 0 because it was the wrong kind of problematic. If I were a stripper watching this movie, I would be fucking appalled. They insinuate that strippers are R-word. Like, really, really fucking dumb. There's a scene where the stripper comes in to see Kathryn Hahn. They're all having Christmas dinner. It's this great thing. All the children are around, and the stripper says to Kathryn Hahn, "I want to show my love for you through dance." And he begins stripping, doing his dance, and
there are children in the room.
Turn the kids around, kids around. Why is it just under fucking stood that if a stripper comes in, he's too dumb to notice that there's fucking kids right there? And he's fucking, how about adult not take their wiener out in front of a fucking 4-year-old girl?
Also worth pointing out that they also assume that strippers are hard 100% of the time.
Yes.
Because there are a few scenes in this movie, and it's established that this stripper has a gigantic penis. But there are a few scenes in this movie where there's absolutely no reason for this guy to be hard. Yeah. And he's walking around in his underwear, and he's hard AF. Like, Kathryn Hahn, who he's falling in love with in this movie for some reason. Yeah. Her mom, Susan Sarandon, suffers her 3rd concussion of the month, and this guy's walking around, dick hard as a fucking rock.
It is straight as an arrow.
Yes.
Yeah. You know what? I didn't even think of that. Like, why is he just walking around like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
And why is that cool?
Well, they gave him they for sure gave him the ham bulge.
The ham bulge?
That John Ham bulge?
Yeah.
Where it was like down the leg, just fucking defined as fuck.
I think that's the Hemsworth bulge, because in that the Vacation movie with the joke with the Ed Helms one, it's like the joke
Someone
is that
saw that?
I saw it from the previews. They put it in the previews that Hemsworth has a massive package, and it's like very clearly a dildo, and it's just fucking like all the way down the leg. They did that.
Okay. The jokes with the stripper also, like, there's
so tired at this point.
When I looked up the synopsis, it had like fun quotes from the movie, and one of them was "Put a baby in me, Santa #2," and that's what Kathryn Hahn yells at him. And I was like, is that supposed to be a fucking like pull quote?
No, it's not. And it's like that so much of this shit is just like, I've seen this in some shape or fashion before, and it's just not fucking, it's not original, it's not funny. You're not landing the laughs that you think you're landing. Problematic. Several instances of sexual assault in this movie.
Yeah.
First one,
that too.
First one was on Santa. They basically sexually assaulted a Santa. They're big fans of sexually assaulting people that are just trying to do their jobs.
Yes.
They sexually assault Santa. Then there's a woman handing out drinks at like the food court or at one of the shops in the mall, and then Kathryn Hahn just makes out with her.
I don't know where they get a bottle of, what is that? Is that rum or tequila?
It's like some sort of hard alcohol that they just pull out of nowhere.
Need to know. So maybe it just came from Kathryn Hahn,
who just carries around a bottle everywhere she goes.
If I were to be like, stop, all right, fucking movie makers, how'd they get that bottle? If they're like, Kathryn Hahn had it, I'd be like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. But what fucking mall is this? What a cool mall.
They're just doing shots with like this lady who works at a store.
And when they go to the food court and there's a table full of beers. I don't think I've experienced that. Whenever I go to a food court, I just get Chick-fil-A and put my head down so people don't know that I'm eating Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Not for the
world's coolest mall for sure. They have alcohol in the food court, and then they have alcohol in the stores. The lady at the front of the store was just handing out platters of drinks. So
I will say that when they showed them having those beers at the food court, it made me think about how great getting beers is.
Oh, great. Getting beers is awesome.
Did we talked about that, right? Where we were talking about the best male bonding activities.
Getting beers.
And I said getting a beer. Because that's when you say to, like, hey, let's grab a beer. That's maybe you need to talk about something. Maybe you're trying to lift someone's spirits. Maybe you just want that beer. Could be anything.
So they do that. Santa. They assault the Santa. They assault the woman working at the store, and then they assault. Then Kathryn Hahn definitely assaults or sexually.
This is more sexual harassment.
Sexual harassment for sure. He comes in to get his balls, taint, and dick waxed. Because she's a waxist. And she just immediately rips off the towel and just talking about his dick. And being like, not even just like comments in passing. She stops and drops everything that she's doing to talk about how this dude's dick is.
She has a fucking chat about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, at that point in the movie, guess who found that really funny?
Oh,
the same fucking guy from Rough Night.
Brunch devotees.
All right, so
get on this.
Yeah, brunch fam. You might remember when we went and saw the White Bachelorette Party movie earlier this year, Rough Night. There was a guy in the theater he was an older gentleman. He was there by himself, and he found this movie fucking hilarious.
And he just conveyed this with spoken
laughter throughout the movie, and he just had the most ridiculous laugh. Ha 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 ha.
Oh my god. Oh, Pippa. What is going on here? Pippa! What? Oh my god. Wow. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Wow, dude. Let's dump him. Yeah, let's
do the dump. It was unbelievable. And guess what? This guy was sitting right in fucking front of me at this goddamn movie, and I knew it right off the bat. Like a few laughs into the movie, I was like, "Holy fucking shit! This is the same goddamn guy." So I think this guy, he just loves going to late night movies of very bad all-female cast ensembles.
So that brings me to this. What does that say about us? That's kind of, we're in the same demographic as this guy. We have a lot of the same characteristics.
Of course.
When I go to a movie, I'll be like, oh fuck, I have the same characteristics as a lot of like people who are dragging their kids somewhere. I don't have kids.
So of course I had to get some audio of this guy again. Yes. So here's a little comparison of this guy just having a grand old time.
Apply the wax and oh Jesus fucking Christ. Look at the size of that thing. It looks like a parking cone.
I am so sorry. I forgot to tell you. It scares most people.
No, I'm not scared though. I'm gonna need a lot more wax.
Okay.
So just give me 1 second.
Sure.
Wow. So who usually waxes your balls?
Oh, I go to a woman in Cleveland.
And if that's not exciting for you, fuck you. That's really exciting for us.
Yeah,
we were
that was
fired up.
That was honestly the biggest takeaway. I was like, holy shit, this guy is back, and he is the exact same. He was enjoying himself, so he found this movie somewhat funny. Definitely not as much as Rough Night, because he was laughing throughout. This one, it was a little sporadic. I just happened to catch him laughing hysterically Kathryn Hahn sexually harassing her clients.
Okay, so before we get to the final score, one thing that happens in this movie that I want to pick your brain about is Kristen Bell's family does the open a present. Everyone opens one present on Christmas Eve thing. I know that's something that exists. A lot of families do it. What do you think of that? Is it something in which you've ever participated?
Yeah, I do. I've done like one present on like midnight of Christmas Eve.
I think that is so fucked. What's that's you're fucking shooting your wad.
It's one present.
Yeah, but then don't you get? Oh man, that's no. The thrill of doing it all at once, getting it all when you open one present. What if it's a fucking good present? And then you're like, all right, well now tomorrow I have to act like I like this other shit they fucking got me.
I think it's more of a compromise for parents and like young kids who get fucking super duper excited about Christmas, and like if you don't give them a taste of something the night before, then they like won't go to sleep.
Like, not gonna do Christmas? What are they gonna be like? All right, fucking deals off. Don't give me any presents then. Here's a fucking idea, parents. Control your kids. You're the ones that are in fucking charge. You decide when they're leaving for school, when they're doing all this shit. Just do that again for this. Make the decision.
Neither of us have kids, so I feel like it's hard for us to really weigh in on this. But I would imagine that it's just like, all right, shut the fuck up. I'll give you one. Leave me alone. Go to bed.
How about a little fucking willpower? You know what? This is Brunch Presents. We're telling you how to raise your kids. Because I think that is such a fucking weird and bad thing to do. Fuck that. Let's totally
extremely problematic thing about this movie. Mm-hmm. The kid who plays Mila Kunis' son.
Yeah.
Guess what?
Chef. Still.
Oh yeah, kid from Chef.
Yeah.
Guess what?
What?
He stars in a Donald Trump movie.
What?
They made a movie. Where they made a movie about that fucking book, The Art of the Deal.
Yeah?
Yeah, they made a movie about that, and this kid's in it.
Gross.
I don't think he stars in it. I think that was it was a gross exaggeration.
Yeah.
He plays kid number one. So
all right,
I found that problematic.
All right, let's add these shits up. I've got a 5.8 out of 20, which means a 2. Wait, hold on a second. What is that? 2.9? Yeah, that's a 2.9
Wow.
out of 10. I'm surprised. I thought that this system's always right, so I'm surprised though. I thought that I would have had it in the piece of shit of the year category.
I have a 2.625.
Oh my goodness!
So just
oh my stars! In all my days of doing brunch movie reviews, I never would have thought that both of us would have had this above the threshold. Wow. These are the fucking beautiful moments. This is why you listen.
I kind of fucking like that though, because it's a bad movie. It's a really bad movie, but if this gets I want piece of shit of the year to be reserved for things that are like excruciatingly bad.
Forever, yeah.
So this fucking escapes by the skin of its teeth. Yeah. So congratulations. And worth pointing out, they finished this movie with a slow-mo walkout from the older moms. Mm-hmm. Like, they're doing, like, the very...
I did a faster walkout.
You did. Stunk. But they did the old, like, slow-mo, like, swag. We're walking in a line. We know we're fucking badass. Like, that's a move you pull when you know you're getting a fucking another movie. So they finished this movie, and they were like, oh, man, really nailed it. Got to go with the slow-mo walkout.
Did you see that there was a Bollywood ending?
Where they did, like, the dancing credits?
Yeah.
Oh, God. This movie did not deserve either of those things.
Gallagher, Stripper Man, and her boyfriend all dancing and having a fucking blast doing it. That part I thought was good.
I mean, they probably had the most fun doing that part of the movie. Right. But, yeah, this movie was not good enough to get one of those scenes or get a slow-mo walkout to close it out.
But it still didn't get piece of shit of the year. Do you know what I call that? A Christmas miracle.